It's an entertaining day here on the big broadcast. We've got KJAH Anthofer with us today. SentinellaSeniorSolutions.com is the website if you want to get more information on KJAH and her efforts. She's a UC Santa Barbara graduate. She's a California licensed administrator for assisted living and dementia care communities, and she's been with us in the past, but I wanted to bring her on today because there is a tremendous story going around right now. It is just a harrowing story. I want to get Kira's perspective on this. Talk to me a little bit about this event. It has to do something with a senior care facility.
Yes, there was a 911 call that was made by it was actually done by an independent care facility because of a resident a senior had passed out in the dining room, and so it looked like they were making the 911 call to get emergency services to that senior.
We've got KJAH Anthofer with us today. Why did this event happen? Is there a general policy regarding 911 calls in independent and assisted living facilities?
What it appears is that they did follow their policy, and it is a general policy in independent and assisted living communities in the state of California. If a senior were to fall, or in this case, it appeared that she may have passed out in the dining room, they are to call 911 services. California state regulations state that at a minimum, all their staff should have first aid training. It's a social model that they're living under and regulations. It's not a medical model. So CPR is not a prerequisite for each employee to be working in an assisted living, in this case, an independent living community.
We've got KJAH Anthofer with us today here on the big broadcast talking about this incredible story here. Kind of give me a quick review here of regulations in the state of California regarding training and allowable services for licensed residential care facilities for the elderly, or RCFE. Kind of talk to me a little bit about the social model versus a medical model.
Yeah, the training requirements for all employees that go into an assisted living community is that they need to have 10 hours of training and be more sensitive to a senior's lifestyle, look at nutrition, look for signs of maybe there might be stress, and then they're basically doing like personal care type services and providing dining and activities. They're not to do medical type procedures, and CPR is considered one of them. They are, though, regulated to have first aid training if you are providing direct care to a resident. This is more of a social model in the state of California. So those buildings, such as this one, this woman was in an independent building. That's what they were classifying it as. It might not even be under Department of Social Services licensure, but an assisted living community is. And that's something that would be very important to look at when looking for such a facility to move in. And the medical model is a skilled nursing or a hospital or a rehabilitation center. There they will have different rules and regulations.
We've got a tremendous guest with us today. KJAH Anthofer is joining us, Senior Living Advisor. When does a nurse not help a resident/patient living in an independent and assisted living facility? Could the nurse or the dispatch call handle the 911 call differently? Talk to me a little bit about this.
I think definitely that this 911 call could have been handled a lot differently. Typically, an assisted living or an independent living community doesn't normally hire a nurse. It's not regulated by California state regulations. She should have made that pretty clear when the 911 call was made. However, she is considered a skilled professional. She could have made a little bit of an attempt, the nurse, but she was so sticking strongly to her company policies. I think she was not looking at the bigger picture and was just kind of following the rote of what she was told to do. And I believe that the 911 dispatcher, I think, kind of may have panicked a little bit. I think there could have been better communication, because our understanding is that the senior was breathing. She was not completely passed out. And I think that could have been a bit more better communicated between the two, versus they were both being extremely defensive of trying to uphold each other's policies.
We've got KJAH Anthofer joining us today. She's a senior living advisor. Do not resuscitate forms and post forms. Who signs it? Where is it kept? And why have it?
Yes, that is such an important piece of documentation when moving into an assisted or an independent living facility, and hospitals also hold it. A do not resuscitate form clearly states, do not resuscitate in the event if I am not breathing or if my heartbeat has stopped beating. And that needs to be signed by the senior or their responsible person, as well as a physician. It's almost like an advanced physician's order, and that they describe what that means, that you will not be resuscitated. That is kept usually in a copy should be in the resident's room, as well as in the medical room or where the medication room is. And that's why it's so important for senior to have it done ahead of time, so everyone clearly knows in advance what their wishes are regards to being resuscitated.
We've got a tremendous guest with us today. KJAH Anthofer joins us. CentellaSeniorSolutions.com is the website. Senior living advisor with us today. What is the just the policy here for employees to perform CPR at an independent and assisted living facility? State regulations versus company policy. For instance, should you ask a residential facility what is their CPR policy?
That's a great question, and yes, you should ask. I've been contacting a lot of my companies that I work with and asking them today, what is their policy in relationship to CPR? And it's kind of going across the board in different directions. A lot of them are following state regulations. We just need to have first aid. Many of them do offer CPR training, perhaps not for a frontline staff, but for a manager. And they're keeping it open where some might say, if there is a CPR event and it's needed, and again, if that person does not have a DNR on file, some companies are allowing people to go ahead and perform CPR. Others are clearly stating at the time of admission, they'll have a piece of paper and let the resident know ahead of time, we do not perform CPR. Please acknowledge that you know that we do not do CPR. However, we will always call 911. So I'm seeing the full gamut today.
We've got KJAH Anthofer with us today, senior living advisor. The importance of a senior living advisor is to guide you through the qualities you want in a residential community for you and your elderly senior. Talk to me a little bit about what you do. I know we've had you on in the past, but kind of talk to us here and how it relates to the big news story.
Well, definitely, the importance of acquiring a senior living advisor, such as myself or anyone else out there, they basically are vetting the communities ahead of time. When you engage in a senior living advisor, they're getting to know you, your wants, your needs, your concerns. And, you know, where I am, in my county alone, there's over 701 communities. A lot of communities to choose from, and there's a lot of different quality of communities. Having someone like myself can already filter through a lot of those, knowing who's the management team, what are their policies, how are their trainings of their employees. That's such an important thing as we're facing today. But let an advisor who has experience to know the operations of the community. Let them do that for you ahead of time so that it can be a more clear and more precise and safe decision when you decide to move to a community.
We have a great guest with us today. This story, Kira, is just a horrendous story. Talk to me a little bit here. Daughter of a deceased senior, a nurse herself. You were satisfied with the care your mother received. Talk to me a little bit about being a senior living advisor and being through this firsthand.
That's what I saw. I heard that the daughter, despite everything that's going on in the news, this negative reaction that's happening, she has stated she's been very satisfied with the type of care that her mom has received in California. And she's a nurse herself. So I think there have been some pieces to this that may be moving. And that can be the watch that she's satisfied. It sounds like there may have been open with the communication, and it's so important. A big is when a facility is not opening out and letting the families know what are the policies ahead of time. At the time of admission, that's when I ask all the tough questions of a facility as a senior living advisor. I'll ask them those questions because we have to go over step by step of how they protect the resident, how they provide their personal rights, their health and medication, who manages what department. I'll drill those questions further when that family is signing that contract.
Well, Kira, I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on and giving us the information on this story, because this is such a big story right now. It's pretty much trending all over the internet and on major news channels across the country. And I appreciate your insight, my friend.
Thank you.
Definitely. Have yourself a good one, Kira. Appreciate it. Kira Anthofer here on the world famous KJAH show. We're going to take a quick little time out here. I always like it how Skype always asks me. Call quality feedback. When we get back, we will chat a little bit more about all sorts of different things. I will talk about TNA wrestling. I will give you a little bit more insight as to the